Have you ever gone to a clothing store and saw something on a mannequin or perhaps just hanging on the rack? You're like, oh, that's going to be, I love that. Or you went online shopping and you said, I like that shirt, or maybe for you, it's, I like that dress. And you get it and you go put it on and it just doesn't fit like it did in the photo or on the rack or on the mannequin. And you think to yourself, I need to change this about my body. I need to change that about my body. I need to change. You start listing things that are not good enough from your body, of your body, to fit in this particular piece of clothing. And that clothing may be very well from your favorite designer if you have one. And it makes you feel like you're not good enough. And all of a sudden you want to pick at different things that you want to change for yourself. And you're going to start to change the way you look or want to look based on a designer. Because that sounds like a logical conclusion to this concern or issue. To me, it doesn't. But also, as athletes, we experience this often. We go try a piece of clothing on and it fits a certain part of our body and not the other part of our body because we have a different definition or different body type than some people that don't and fit in that clothing. And the truth of the matter is different designers want their clothes being worn by different shapes of bodies and different types of people, whatever it is. So instead of aspiring to be that shape for that designer, why not find something that fits for you? It might not be that exact thing that you are looking at, but it still fits you and doesn't make you have to change anything, want to have surgery, want to spend hours in the gym or to starve yourself or to whatever it is. Augment yourself if that's what is needed for those clothing. You got to think that this some person somewhere is designing this piece of clothing because of the way it looks, not because of the body it's going to fit. And that's why a lot of the shows and the models and the mannequins are a certain shape, because it highlights the piece of clothing. Is the clothing supposed to highlight you, or are you supposed to highlight the clothing? That's the question I have for this. Are you choosing your body based on a designer? Because that does not make sense. It might make emotional sense at some point that you're upset because you wanted to fit in that. But at that point, you're going to move past that and realize this is not the designer for me. The designer does not make clothing for my body type. And the reaction shouldn't be, I need to change my body type, because realistically, you can't. Your bone structure is your bone structure. Your genetics are your genetics. What you can do is to make the most out of it, putting this in quotations because who knows what that means. But you cannot be deciding what you look like based on what you see on social media, some piece of clothing somewhere, some designer somewhere that has no idea about you and the way your body looks, but wants a certain piece of clothing to look a certain way. Don't put yourself through that. Understand that you have the body that you have. You've been dealt a hand. You got to play your hand. You got to do the best you can with what you have and not covet something else that's only causes you suffering.